Hi guys, my name is Rachel and today I'm here to do a video on the series that I need to finish. This basically involves all the series that I have started, maybe I've read the first or second book, and I just have not finished them for whatever reason. So I have quite a few series that I have started and have not finished yet. I am a disaster for finishing series. I don't know what it is, I'm just so bad, especially when I start a series where all the books aren't out yet. Once I start a book and if the second book isn't out for another year, I'm just so bad at getting back to the second book when it does come out. I'm just a disaster. So without further ado, let's get into the series that I still need to finish. So this does not include series that I haven't started yet. There are plenty of series that I want to start but haven't yet. So this just includes all the series that I have started and would like to finish the series. The first series that I would like to finish is the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children series by Ransom Riggs. So this series started off as a trilogy and then Ransom Riggs released another trilogy. So I have read the original trilogy, so technically I kind of did finish the series, but now that he's added a second trilogy to the series, it's now just a 6-book series, and I have books 4 and 5 behind me here if you can see them, and I would like to get to them because I really did enjoy this series. It is really great. This follows our character Jacob, who meets these children that have magical abilities. This book has a found family trope, which is just one of the best tropes ever. I love people coming together, people from all different backgrounds, and just having this beautiful family relationship. I think it's amazing. So I definitely want to get to the second half of this series very soon. It's been on my mind, especially because the 6th and final book just recently came out, so now the entire second trilogy is out and I could just binge them. I've heard amazing things about the second half of the series, so I'm definitely looking forward to getting back into this world with these amazing characters. The next series I need to finish is Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. This is a very well known series, especially because it is a TV series, and it is absolutely fantastic. I've only read the first book, but I really enjoyed the first book, and I also watched the first few episodes of the show years ago, and I also thought that was really good. It's actually a very good adaptation. I've been dying to get to the second book for years now, and I just haven't done so for whatever reason. It's always at the back of my mind that I need to return to this series because I just loved this first book so much. This is a historical fiction novel. This follows our protagonist Claire, who goes to the Scottish Highlands with her husband Frank. It is the year 1946, and basically she finds these standing stones and she gets transported back in time into 1743, and she is stuck in that time period. So there she meets Jamie Fraser, who, oh my god, I love him so much. He's so amazing, such an interesting character. I just really want to continue on. I heard the second book has a very interesting plot twist, which is really exciting, and I own the first 4 books. They're actually behind me here, and I definitely want to get to them very soon. They're always on the back of my mind. I really enjoyed this book, so hopefully I get back to these characters and this world very soon. The next series I need to finish is the Shatter Me series by Tahira Mafi. Again, similar to Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, I have read the original trilogy, absolutely freaking loved it. It was amazing. I love Tahira Mafi's writing. She's absolutely fantastic. So I read this original trilogy and she added a second trilogy to the series. They are also behind me here. So I've read Shatter Me, Unravel Me and Ignite Me. Absolutely freaking loved them, thought they were brilliant. So I have not started the second trilogy yet, but even though I'm so excited to, because I loved these characters, I loved this world, I love her writing. Oh my god, it's such a good series. I think I'm just nervous because I loved the original trilogy so much. I'm scared to almost be let down or something by the second half of the series. I don't know, it's Tahira Mafi. I'm sure she's not gonna let me down. She's amazing. But I definitely want to get to this series very soon because I really miss these characters, and the fact that she has added a second trilogy to the series is absolutely amazing. I'm so excited. This follows our character Juliet, and basically her touch kills people. So it's kind of a love triangle, but it's actually a really good love triangle. The characters are just fantastic. They're so good. And one thing I absolutely loved about this original trilogy is the character development with Juliet. She just becomes this amazingly strong woman, and I just loved reading about it. It was absolutely great. I cannot wait to return to this series and be back with these amazing characters. The next series I need to finish is the Cruel Prince series by Holly Black. I know that's not the name of the series, but I honestly cannot remember for the life of me what this series is called. This is a YA fantasy trilogy. I read this first book a couple of years ago. I quite enjoyed it. It wasn't exactly like an amazing book in my opinion, but it definitely was interesting and I enjoyed it, and I definitely would like to continue on with the series. I honestly don't remember too much about it, so when I do return to the series, I'm actually going to reread this one because all the details are just missing. I don't really remember much from it. It's not that long of a series, so I probably will fly through it. The only thing that's been putting me off is I heard the third and final book, The Queen of Nothing, is a bit of a letdown, so I hate when that happens in a trilogy where the third book is just disappointing, but I would still like to return to this series and have a go myself and see what I think, so I hope to get to this one quite soon. The next series I need to finish is the Caraval Trilogy by Stephanie Garber. Absolutely loved this first book. I actually read the second book, Legendary, as well. That was really good too, but this first book blew my mind. I remember reading it and just being so engrossed in the story. It was so gripping, so different, and just so exciting, and I loved it. I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 5 stars, absolutely loved it. And then I read Legendary, the second book, and enjoyed that one too, but for whatever reason I just have not gotten to the third and final book. I don't know why. I think it's just been so long since I have read these first 2 books that I'm just missing a few details. So I'm thinking, because I loved this book so much, I might do a reread of this and the second book just to refresh my memory, and then I will read the third and final book, and hopefully the third and final book is as good as the first 2, because I think this series is great. I don't think it gets enough love on BookTube in my opinion. It's honestly hard to describe this series. It's kind of a fantasy mystery, which was really fun. Basically there's this week-long event called Caraval, and basically our main character, whose name I cannot even remember, what's her name? Basically our main character's sister goes missing and she's trying to find her. It's just a really fun book, loads of twists and turns and magic. It's just brilliant. I loved it so much, so I definitely hope to do a reread of these 2 books soon and then read the final book and have completed the trilogy. The next series I have to finish is the A Darker Shade of Magic series by V.E. Schwab. This is such a popular series on BookTube. V.E. Schwab is one of the most popular authors on BookTube. She's always talked about, and I have read the first book. For whatever reason I haven't continued on with the trilogy yet, even though I really enjoyed this first book. I definitely plan to. I want to reread this one first though, just to kind of refresh my memory. This was so good. V.E. Schwab has incredible writing. No wonder everyone on BookTube adores her. She's so talented. This basically follows our character Kel, and he can travel to parallel universes. So there is the grey London, white London, red London, and once there was a black London. So all these Londons are like parallel universes. They're all so different to each other. This book was just so much fun. It's a YA fantasy trilogy. So great, so intriguing. The characters are very interesting. The writing is fantastic. So I don't know why I haven't returned to this series yet. I definitely will, because it's so well loved, and I've heard the second book is even better. So I definitely am very excited to return to this series, and hopefully I will do so very soon. The next series I have to finish might be a bit of a surprise, and that is His Dark Materials by Philip Pullman. I've only read Northern Lights and I never got to The Subtle Knife or The Amber Spyglass. I think it's because I wasn't as obsessed with this first book as a lot of people are. I'm not even going to explain what this is about because everybody knows what it's about. This is a very well known and very loved series, and I know most people have read the series and absolutely adored it. I enjoyed the first book. It was fine. I just didn't get the hype. I wasn't amazed by it. I wasn't crazy about the characters. I wasn't obsessed with the plot. I just wasn't really as into it as a lot of people are. So I have never continued on with the trilogy. I don't think I'm going to return to the trilogy anytime soon. It's definitely something I would like to finish, but it's not very high on my radar at the moment. So it might be quite a while before I do return to it. But I do definitely want to continue with it because it is such a well-known series, and I would like to watch the TV series because I've heard that's very good. So I will get to this eventually, but not quite yet. The next series I have to finish is the Seven Realms trilogy by Cinda Williams Chima. This is a YA fantasy trilogy. I read this first book, The Demon King, so long ago, and I remember it was fine, but I wasn't entirely amazed by it. It wasn't like a 5-star read for me. I think it was more like a 3.5, so it was fine, it was enjoyable, but it wasn't quite gripping enough for me, so I just didn't continue on with the trilogy. But Cinda Williams Chima has so many books out, and I own actually quite a lot of them, and I would like to give her books another go, but to continue on with her other series you have to have read this trilogy first. I think all her books are kind of connected, similar to like Cassandra Clare's books in a way, so I would like to see what her other books are like. So I definitely want to get back to this series eventually. It's been so long since I read this that I definitely would need to reread this one. I honestly can't even tell you what this book is about. My mind has just gone blank when I think about this book. I don't remember anything. I remember tiny little bits and pieces, but not enough detail to definitely just dive into the second book. Who knows, maybe the second time reading it I might actually enjoy it a lot more. That does sometimes happen for me. I don't reread books often, but when I do, sometimes I actually prefer the book the second time more so than the first time, so hopefully that'll be the case with this one. I never hear anyone talk about these books on BookTube, with the exception of Reagan over at Peru's Project. I know she raves about this series and this author, so I definitely trust her opinion and I would like to continue on, so hopefully I will get back to this series quite soon. The next series that I need to finish is the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan. So this is the third book. I've already read the first and second book, The Eye of the World and The Great Hunt, and I definitely plan to get to this one very, very soon. The first and second book are quite recent reads for me, so I've always planned on finishing the series. I would love to get the whole series read this year. It's a very long 14-book epic fantasy series. I would love to finish it this year, but I'm not going to put myself under too much pressure because there are a lot of books I want to get to this year, and it is a very long series, but hopefully it'll happen because I would like to. My friend Anthony said this is actually his favourite in the series, and he's the one who bought me the first book, so I do trust his opinion, and hopefully I will have the same love for this third book as well. I'm so looking forward to seeing where this series goes. Like, this is such a huge world. There's so much that goes on in this series, and I've only read the first 2 books. I don't know how long it'll take me to finish this entire series, but I definitely plan to. It's 100% my thing. Loving it so far. Cannot wait to see where the story goes. The next series I need to finish is the Magisterium series by Cassandra Clare and Holly Black. Cassandra Clare, as you know, is one of my all-time favourite authors. I love her so much. This is a series that she did with Holly Black. I don't even know how many books are in this series anymore, but I own the first 3, and I read the first one. I don't think I got to the second one yet. I read it so long ago. Basically, this is like a middle grade YA fantasy involving a school of magic called the Magisterium. I enjoyed this book a lot. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was very enjoyable. It was just an easy little fun read, and I just never continued on with the series just because it didn't grip me quite enough, but it's definitely something I plan to return to. Even though Cassandra Clare and Holly Black are 2 very well loved authors, I haven't heard too much about this particular series that they did together. I think that this series is just a lot of fun. It's just quick and easy to read, so I would like to have a go at this again and just continue on with the series. The next series I need to finish is the Darkest Minds trilogy by Alexandra Bracken. I've mentioned this series before, that I read the first book and wasn't crazy about it. I read her Passenger duology and quite enjoyed that one, but again, I didn't love it. I've been kind of up and down about whether I want to continue on with this trilogy. Part of me wants to, just to be able to say I've read it and see if I actually do end up enjoying it. So it's been on my mind a little bit since I read the Passenger duology quite recently, so I might return to this series again. I would definitely need to reread this first book because it's been so long and I don't remember it too well. I'm hoping the second and third book are better, but I think I would like to give it a go again and just see if I prefer this the second time, and just to see if I do actually end up enjoying the trilogy as a whole. The next series I need to finish is Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I read this first book so long ago, probably like 6 or 7 years ago or whenever it came out. This is a YA fantasy series. Red Queen was actually quite enjoyable. I feel like at the time when it came out there was a lot of up and downs. People either loved or hated this book. I quite enjoyed it. I thought the plot twist was interesting. It was just a lot of fun. It's not a very unique book. It has a lot of elements that are in other fantasy series, and I think that's why a lot of people didn't enjoy it that much. They just felt it was too similar to other books, and that's perfectly fine. But I would love to give this another go and just move on to Glass Sword, because I've had the second book, Glass Sword, and the third book on my shelves for so long, and they're just sitting there staring at me in the face, and I just need to continue on with this series. If I don't like the second book too much, I won't continue on, but I would like to give it a go because I did enjoy this first book. Nothing too amazing about it, but just a bit of fun. So I will get to this series again eventually and see how it goes. And the final series that I need to finish is the Dark Artifices trilogy by Cassandra Clare. So I've said in previous videos that I absolutely adore Cassandra Clare. She's one of my all-time favourite authors. For whatever reason, I just did not get to this book when it came out in 2018. I'm just so behind on Cassandra Clare books, and I'm dying to read Chain of Gold and Chain of Iron. They're both sitting behind me, staring me in the face. I'm dying to get to them. So I loved Lady Midnight and Lord of Shadows, and I think the reason I didn't get to this one straight away is because Lord of Shadows broke my heart. The ending absolutely destroyed me. I was an emotional mess. So when this came out, I was just not in an emotional place to read it, but I'm definitely planning to catch up on Cassandra Clare books because Chain of Iron just came out. I really want to get to it. I'm so excited to read it, and I just think Cassandra Clare is just an amazing, fantastic writer. Like, she's so talented, it's actually unreal. Her books are always amazing, and I'm actually currently reading this one, so yay! I'm actually gonna finish this trilogy Trilogy very, very soon. I'm on page, let me check. I'm on page 209. It is a 900-page book, so I'm not that far into it, but from what I have read, I'm so enjoying it. It's absolutely amazing. Even though it's been quite a while since I read Lord of Shadows, I just kind of fell back into this world so easily with these characters. Cassandra Clare's characters just mean so much to me. This world means so much to me. So just falling back into the Shadowhunter world has been honestly so much fun. I missed this world so much. I missed these characters, and I'm so excited to continue on with this book. I'm really loving it so far, but I will discuss my final thoughts on the book in my March wrap up. So that is it for the series that I need to finish. There are quite a lot of series that I've started and haven't gotten back to in a while, so I definitely need to finish some of these series before I move on to completely new series, because I'm just a disaster for finishing series. I'm so bad at it. So I'm definitely looking forward to getting back into some of these worlds again. I'm just doing a couple of rereads on some of them, so I honestly think it's going to be a lot of fun, and the sense of accomplishment I feel when I finish a series is just amazing. So I'm definitely looking forward to feeling that way after I finish some of these series. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. If you like, please give me a like and subscribe. It would mean the absolute world to me. Also leave me a comment and just say hello, or tell me if you have read any of these series and if you think they are worth me finishing, or if you think some of these series are absolutely terrible and you don't think I should waste my time. Do let me know. So thank you so much, guys, and I hope you have a lovely day. Slán live!